It is such a joy, such a pleasure to introduce to you my guest for this week. I'm sure you know him. I'm sure you've heard his music. I'm sure you love what he does. The incredible composer and pianist Ludovico Einaudi. He I believe, I think it's actually probably true that he is the most renowned classical musician of our time. Ludovico has 15 studio albums, I think more than 80 films and TV shows that he had score music for. He's one of the most prolific composers alive today, repeatedly tops the classic music charts globally. One in 10 classical music streams in a place like the UK, for example, today is his music. So one of every 10 minutes of classical streams that are played is his, which adds up to, I think, 1 million streams a day and over 2.5 billion streams in total. He is by far the most played classical artist in that sense of all time. Lodovico's latest album is an absolute experience that you cannot miss. It's called Underwater, and it flew naturally out of him during the pandemic, which I think is an experience that we both align on very strongly, because he felt that his ability to deep dive and sort of swim freely without interruptions, without travel, without the rush of touring or meetings and so on, allowed him to go and build something that's stems from that experience, from being allowed to live the life that we're supposed to live as humans. And when you listen to the album, and it is fantastic, you absolutely have to listen to it. You would feel that time is almost stopping, that the music is hypnotic in a way. It takes you just away from that crazy life that we live. And as you can imagine, I think it would be the best possible soundtrack you can think of for Slo Mo. For a life that is in Slo Mo, if you want. So I'll ask you to consider doing this while you listen today. I'll ask you to try and play some of Ludovico's music in the background of our conversation. I will attempt in our conversation to dive deep into his thoughts, into his beliefs, into his story. But I think if you really want to feel his soul, perhaps play his music in the background of this conversation. I cannot tell you how long I've been looking forward to this. While we may not be talking about things that we can grasp logically, if you've ever seen Ludovico perform and how much feeling and emotion he puts in his music, you would know for certain that this is going to be a very deep and very connected conversation that could probably shed light on a different way that we can go through life. Ludovico Einaudi. Perfect. Thank you so much for being here. It is amazing. I'm a big fanboy, as of course most of the world is. So it's just a total honor to be with you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I want to start by I want to talk about you a lot and understand how does someone become like you. But I want to start by saying what I feel when I listen to your music, okay? Because I feel this is the whole thing. It's not something happening in my head or noises that I'm hearing. It's not something I dance to. Okay, it's something that I feel especially your last album. I think your experience is very similar to mine in terms of finding yourself finally not traveling, and I could feel a lot. How? how do you make your music make me feel things? I mean, how can music actually make anyone feel at all?
Yes, this is a very interesting, but also very difficult question to answer to, because uh, of course, for me, making music, uh, it has, it's about, it's all about feeling. Uh, of course, when you are creating music, you arrive from a long process. I personally come from a long life into music where I have been listening to music from different cultures, different moments in the history of music, from contemporary to the past. And the I think in if the world of music, the world of sounds interests someone, uh, and uh, and you are touched by music when you are growing up, and you listen to music, you start to naturally select what music is talking to you, why, and you start to listen to maybe a band or a composer, or a singer that is able to enter and to talk to your soul in a way. And doing this, you without even uh, knowing exactly how, but you start to select certain music, certain melodies, certain harmonies, certain rhythms that you store in your memory. And and when you start to create music, you go to that storage, and you take in your memory you have some harmonic ideas that are coming from, probably you don't know exactly, because the storage is like it's not it's like a room that you have inside that is all in a way
Mhm.
melted
Mixed
together.
up. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not exactly a place that is in order. You have some.
Organized, yes.
It's not organized, but the beauty of this organization that you have inside is that the harmonies and the melodies and all this information, they start to melt together, and they start to create a sort of dialogue inside. They work internally inside you.
That's so beautiful.
This is interesting also for me, because it's the first time I'm saying this. Uh, it's a new idea that I'm telling you. And uh, and then of course there is you, me, or whoever is um, in the desire, in the act of uh, making music that has different motivations, has different desires, and sometimes it's also difficult to understand also why you are doing something and why you are doing something different or something else. I think I have memories about music, and I think part of this storage of music that I was talking about comes first from the music that my mother was playing at home on an upright piano. She was an amateur pianist. She was married with my father, and she had 3 children, and I was there with two sisters, and every day, without any particularly fixed hour, mostly every day, she was playing some classical music, some at the piano. She was playing Chopin, Bach, she was playing Schumann, and she was playing also some, I remember she had a book of French children's songs that she was playing for us. And this was like a sort of fireplace, always on in the house. So it was like a aura of music, an aroma that was like the smell of jasmine that you can have when you are in a house in the summer with the open windows, that with the wind the smell of jasmine comes inside, or other beautiful smell from other plants in a Mediterranean garden. So I started to feel. I don't know if I'm too slow in the detail of
Not
things.
at
No,
all. It's
okay,
such a
okay.
beautiful explanation. Absolutely.
And so these aromas of music, they, similarly to the aromas that you start to learn in your life when you are a child, and that at the beginning you smell the sage and the rosemary, but you don't know their names, and you start to realize after few years maybe that this is the aroma of the sage that you have started to feel unconsciously, and then you realize that yes, it's the sage that I love, and I love also the thyme and the mint. And this was also similarly was the piano of my mother that I started to listen to unconsciously from the room, from my room to the with this sound that was slightly filtered from the walls of the house. Sometimes, or sometimes I was there with her, but it was like a sound that was coming from somewhere. And I remember one day sitting in my room. I was probably on my bed, reading something, and I stopped and I started to listen consciously to the music, and I said to myself, "Well, I love this piece of music. It's I feel really that there is something very emotional connected to this music that makes me almost cry. And uh, and I remember it because usually when you are a little boy, your emotions are very simple. Sometimes you are very happy. Sometimes you are fighting with your sister, and or playing with your friends, and or the opposite. But the more subtle emotions, they arrive later usually. And and music was to me the first thing that gave me such a strong emotion. So from that, I don't remember exactly if I'm talking about when I was 8, 9 years old, or even around the time, I think. And so from around this story, my mother also was. I'm always talking about my mother because my father was into books. He was not very interested in music in all his life. And he was a publisher, but so he was very interested in books, maybe in the art in general, but not specifically in music. And so my mother was the one in the house that also started to play long playings, vinyls on records. And she was not only playing classical music, but she was well. Sometimes she was playing operas that I was not so much in love with. But at the same time, she made me discover rock music because she was very open, and I
Oh,
remember she started to play the Rolling Stones, Bob Dylan.
hello. I did not know that about you.
No, oh, okay, okay. No, no. We so at 8 years old, I asked to my parents to buy me a guitar because I wanted to play the Beatles. And so they gave me a guitar, and guitar was an instrument that I enjoyed playing for many years. So actually, uh, for for a time, it was the instrument that I enjoy more to play because I could play with friends. I could take it everywhere, and I could be on the beach or traveling with my guitar. It was easy. And at the time, in the 60, early 70s, the guitar was the instrument that everyone wanted to play.
Wanted,
Everyone
yeah.
was, yeah, and it was the
Yeah.
instrument. So I really enjoyed playing guitar and playing exchanging uh, the chords with my friends. We were playing all the music from Jimi Hendrix to Donovan to all the pop hits, rock hits of a certain very elevated level of the time, because I mean the music of the time was very high, the level of the musical level.
Are there any videos of you anywhere in the world
No,
playing any of this?
no, any of
I think the world will we will get hundreds of millions of people queuing to see you play Jimi Hendrix.
okay. Maybe I should make one day I should make an album of my covers with the guitar.
Yes, Yes, and remember, this idea started here.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
That
Yeah,
would change the world. Okay, so you played the guitar. I actually played the guitar as well at 8, right?
Ah, okay.
But look at me now. I mean, look at me. I'm no. I still play the guitar. You know,
You still play the guitar?
I play not as often as I did, of course, because of most of my travel. But and actually, my heart now is a lot more in a different kind of art. Even though there are lots of analogies to how you described the beautiful metaphor of the scents of different herbs and how that plays music and creates memories. My mom was into books very much. So interestingly, when you said your dad was into books, my mom was an avid reader, and so knowledge and learning became my thing. And I actually, as you were telling the story, I was remembering again the emotions and the aha moments that I would get when I read certain things, and how I use that in my writing today. It's so beautiful the way you described it. But here's the interesting thing. I mean, yeah, the interesting thing for me is that so I had a guitar and I had books in my life. Okay, you had a guitar and you had books in your life, but we diverged into two very different arts, right? You ended up being the amazing you with your piano and your beautiful music, and I ended up writing and getting into a very different place. And it's interesting to think why would someone follow one path and another one would follow the other.
Yeah, absolutely. It's probably for me the word of my father that was in a way very somehow for certain aspects very fascinating because uh, I can remember him opening a book and touching the paper
The paper. Hmm.
and feeling and sensing the if the quality of the paper, also smelling the glue of the book. So it's also a physical relation with.
Yeah, a very sensual experience. Yeah.
Essentially, I remember he was touching the books uh, to feel if they were right to him. So there was a sort of in the way the book was packed, that was manufactured. He was he needed to have also like a physical and aesthetical approach to the object. Not only it was not only the content of the book,
Yeah, not the words. Yeah.
not the words, but he needed to have also aesthetically an aesthetic satisfaction from what he was doing. And so he was spending a lot of time discussing with the art director for the graphic, for the working with the artist to look for the possible different images to use on the covers. And so all the details, of course, of the book were very important. But I would say that knowing my father, he was he was managing a very sophisticated group of intellectuals around him. Writers like, I don't know, you probably know for sure Italo Calvino.
Mm-hmm.
Italo Calvino is one of the main figures of literature in Italy in after the war, and many books are translated also in English. I think all of his books have been translated. and Italo Calvino, Primo Levi, that was coming from the tragedy of the experience in Auschwitz. Cesare Pavese, and I could name a lot that were working closely with him in a way for publishing their books, but on another level to work with the company to select other books from other writers around the world. So my father, just to, I think it's important just to define why I didn't go in that direction. So my father was managing, and he was listening every Wednesday when they had a meeting in the around an oval table all together to discuss the new projects. He was listening carefully and controlling the discussion, the battle of different minds that he was listening to, and then they were taking decisions. But he was not the kind of publisher that decide to select personally a book because he likes it. So he was not an avid reader.
He was more of a business person.
It's not exactly that, because no, it was not. He loved to be involved in the process of making, and he was very able and good in finding the right people around him to. And he was, as I said, aesthetically extremely refined in the way he wanted those that he considered, that he knew those books that he wanted not only for the inside but also for the outside to be highly respected and sophisticated. So he wanted to create a very sophisticated product for a cultural idea that he had, for almost an artistic vision that he had about those books. But in the business, he was not very good. At the end, the company did not had problems because the expenses that he was all the projects, they started to become so sophisticated that the costs were too much, and at the end they had financial problems. Anyway, I felt that the relation with books was in a way overwhelming my person. I was not in the house. I didn't feel a natural access to those books. They were as a child, I felt them too much as monuments, rather than being some places where I could be attracted to open and to read and to enter in new worlds and new doors of my possible imagination of new road of my rather than being places that could open my imagination and elevate myself. While in music, I always felt that I was more free to wander, and I didn't that the words of music were more open to interpretation, and in that sense, I could be more free in the world of music. Also, listening, interpreting what other were telling with me with the music, but also when I started to make music, I felt that with music I could be more free to say everything I wanted without, in a way, without the need of having any filters, because
Yeah.
the words of music are you can understand them, but they are not saying exactly what is written
Yes.
in a word.
When you're writing a piece of music, do you actually have a very specific feeling? Like, when we talk about Underwater, your last album, the feeling of I am left alone, I'm in peace, I'm deep away from the noises of the world. Would that be what you think and what you feel before your fingers touch the piano?
Yes, it's not exactly in the moment, but it's in the time, in a time frame.
Uh-huh.
I created Underwater. Underwater was created during
Pandemic.
the lockdown in between 2020 and 2021, and it was a time where I personally felt uh, completely uh, at ease, in the sense that I enjoyed very much the fact that all the fragmentation of time that we have built in our world, where every hour, I mean, we are talking for an hour, and it's a luxury.
Mm, I love that you say that. Yeah.
Because usually when you start to talk to someone and you have an interview, or you do something, everything is condensed in 20 minutes, and 20 minutes we are already talking since 35 minutes, I think. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
in general, you need time. I think you need time to do things, to dive deep
To slow down. Yeah.
into the things. If you write, if you play music, if you do anything, if you also do any kind of work requires time, and and I think we have built a system where our time is continually interrupted and fragmented, and
Mm.
and during that year 2020 and 2021, I started to the feeling of not having the horizon in front of my.
Mm.
The horizon was only the horizon of the day, when the sun goes up and down, and so you have everything at your hands, and you can decide what to do, what you want to do. I mean, of course, I was lucky not to be in the need of earning money every day, because I had some storage from before, from the time before, and but that feeling of a time that was again reconstructed in the beauty and in the rhythm in the rhythm of the natural rhythms of the nature of what was happening outside started to make me look more detailedly and deeply and to consider to look at the trees at the sky every day in a different way, because usually you
That's so
are
beautiful.
you're looking down at your piano or at your computer and you never have the time to look outside, to look at the beauty of how every day the light is so beautiful, and it's every day is like it's like to go to the most beautiful museum that you have at your hands. I mean, it just look at where you are. I mean, and and outside, just looking at the sky, at the light, how it changes during the day. It's like being in the most beautiful installation that you can have.
So true.
You don't need to go to the necessarily to the museum to see it. You
Mm,
have it
mm. It
already.
is so true. Yeah, I think I wonder. I mean, everything you say touches me so deeply because I too am in that stage. I'm not sure you know, but I lived a long life in the corporate world before I focused on my topics, happiness, and my writing in general, this podcast, and so on. And there is traces of that corporate world that continues to be in me. Like you rightly said, every hour of my life is interrupted 6 or 7 times. Every conversation is rushed. Every half an hour a topic is changed. And recently I've been talking to Munir, who is really really the backbone of my mission, and produces this podcast and manages my engagements and so on. And I was saying, can I please live more the life of a creative, right, where I can combine all of those external engagements with the world in a day or two, right? Maybe three a week. And then have a few days a week where I can do exactly what you said. Wake up in the morning, feel no time pressure, no interruptions, let inspiration come, and literally enjoy the museum of life, which is so beautiful in every possible way. But somehow we continue to fail to do this. It's really quite interesting, especially at this time. And I don't know what your feeling is, but at this time, as life is starting to come back fully, I'm being pulled back heavily into traveling and into meetings and into talks and so on and so forth, which sort of resemble concerts for you. This is
Yeah.
what I do. I go out and I talk to people and attend events and so on. And it's actually quite hard to stop that flood of the modern world invading your life. How are you dealing with that?
In fact, I was really hoping that we would have learned something by
Yeah, right?
that experience, and also in respect with the environment, because I think
Mm,
we saw that uh, with the impossibility of flying, we saw that the sky were started to be more clean, and and everywhere there were signs of nature reborning.
mm,
But I mean, I was wrong, because the world is coming back exactly, if not,
yeah,
it's not worse
more.
than it's not more
Yeah.
than before. I mean, and now, I mean, not talking about what we are facing now in Ukraine, that is. something that I could not imagine that we could face again a situation like that in our world. Of suffering, of people dying, and it's really something that is insane, and I'm really
Totally insane.
It's very difficult. I mean, I started again recently. In the last year, I started to play concerts again. I started last summer in Italy with a tour that was more made with a soft approach.
Yeah.
Because we made a tour traveling in Italy and playing in national reserve parks where the people could arrive walking to the concerts, and so it was a chance to be inside nature in spectacular places around Italy, to enjoy music and nature together. It's a beautiful experience because I am also I love to be in these places, and my music it's always inspired by things that I see.
Yeah, it fits perfectly, honestly.
Yeah. And so we were like touring with campers and almost like a
Oh, nice.
nomadic, vibe, and with a group of people that I work with since many years, and it feels almost like a family. It's like a group of friends more than a group of people that are working, and so the vibe is very it's really like a family. We enjoy the time we spend together, and everyone is doing his different work to make the things happen, but the vibe is very friendly and human. And this is a group of people that I say it because it's very important for me to work with the same people, because I need, especially after this experience of the lockdown, I need to be with people that I like to be with, and I enjoy the company. And I don't like to be disturbed from this sensation of relations. I tend
Yeah.
to stay with them, and of course, if there's someone that I'm meeting, is fine, but it's not. I don't want to feel uh, alienated in the world. That is very easy when you start to travel, and it's a sensation that I don't like at all to experience anymore. But of course, I can. I still enjoy very much the moments of the performance. It's a
Yeah.
magic moment. It's a magic experience, and also I think I have, in a way, the respect for people that cannot travel everywhere, and I know that sometimes I have to go to them, and they can arrive to my concert, but I need to travel a bit still. So this is why I'm still I have decided to go back on the road, and I have uh, mm, uh, if you have also the possibility to refine what you are really looking for, so you can travel, I can travel with my piano and the sound that I'm able
Yeah.
to express in a concert is really the sound that I want. So I'm creating something that is strongly connected with me, and the result that goes across, that goes outside, is really what I have in mind. So it's a beautiful exchange that I'm able to. It's a beautiful gift that I'm able to give every night to the people that come to the shows, and they give me at the end a lot of. They celebrate this gift in a beautiful way with the recognition, the applause.
It's so beautiful. I mean, talking of travel, I must say, following you for years, the most beautiful trip you've ever done was when you performed on the iceberg in the Arctic for Greenpeace, right? And you know, it also, I think it's not just the music where I always feel that I know you, right? When I listen to your music. But I think the beauty of who you are as a human, and your concern for the environment, and your attempt to tell the world to wake up. I think this is really, really, really beautiful. And you know, you've been an advocate for the environment, you know, since I've known about you. Um, but where do you think we are, and what do you think should be done? You know, I'm also an avid, you know, activist, if you want. I tend to say bluntly, because I'm not as sensitive as you are, that we're running out of time and that we absolutely need to change what humanity is doing. But it doesn't seem to be changing, and it doesn't seem to be, you know, reversing, which is really what we need. What's your position on that?
I feel exactly the same. I'm happy that we are sharing some of similar feelings and ideas regarding different topics. And regarding this topic, I am astonished to see that there's a lot of talk, but the real thing doesn't happen. The real
Mm,
decisions are not creating uh, the right result that we need at this stage, I think. I mean,
yeah,
technically, I don't know. I understand that is a huge problems. Sometimes I wonder if we have become too many in our planet, and the
I don't think
problems.
so. I don't think so. I think we're just abusive. The reality is nature, you know, had more than us in terms of beings before we arrived, right? So, you know, the animal kingdom was much larger in numbers than us, and yet it didn't harm the environment as much. Okay, it's just we're very abusive. I think that's the problem.
Yes, we are abusive, and we don't care about using our planet, and uh, we don't care. I mean, we think that what we have here in our houses, um, we 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 have it for free, but it's not. I mean,
Mm,
we are
mm.
consuming something that is coming from the other part of the world, and we just, I think, we just don't care. And this is, I mean, also, and then I laugh when I see in Glasgow that all the people that are going there to discuss, they come with private jets. and
Yeah.
and then they, they they
How
go back.
ironic.
Yes, it's very ironic. Yeah, but I mean, it's the avidity of the humans that we tend. I say we because I'm mm, I don't feel the same, but I'm part of the same group of animals. But the tendency is always giving the is always looking first at the economic reasons, and everything else comes in second step.
Yeah,
It's the
sadly.
second level.
Yeah.
It's the second level. So, if your view is your vision is the economy first, I think you will never arrive to a point where you could invert the tendency, because economy. I mean, probably uh, there there could be a sort of level of economy where everything is balanced, is more, but you have to slow it down. You have to to consume less. You have to your needs they need to be less, and you have to be probably a little more poor of in what but at the end, in your life, you don't need so all the gadgets that we use, consume, throw away every day, and I think
Yeah.
it could be just a different uh, approach of life that we could all switch into without losing so much. I mean, probably we wouldn't.
Yeah.
But it's very difficult uh, to change. I think I don't know. I'm starting to be not so positive uh, regarding looking at that problem.
Yeah, nature will find a way. Nature. I mean, it will come with a little bit of pain, but I think humans are coming very close to a point where we're going to have to be forced to change. The challenge in my view, Lodovico, is that I try so hard. I was actually looking at my recycling bin today, and that thing fills up every week. Like, and I'm trying so hard not to pick products that have plastic in them, trying so hard to reduce single use plastic. But it's just the way the world is designed is just incredibly geared, as you rightly said, to economic growth and selling products and so on. It's even if you want to, it's not that easy, right? And end of the day, I'm trying so hard to not travel, but believe it or not, whether I travel or not, the jet plane is going to take off anyway. Okay, of course I play my role by as much as I can. I mean, KLM, for example, is one of my favorite airlines, where at least they allow me to buy a carbon offset for how I fly. But most others don't even care. It's like, it's part of life, part of economy. There is a problem coming, but it's going to come later and hit someone else. And I don't understand how humans are thinking that way.
Yeah, and also if you start to say that you don't want to go, they start to look at you like you are a weird person, like that you are crazy, and you're starting to get old, and
No, yeah, no, I do that all the time, believe it or not. So actually, every time someone approaches me now, I say, "Can we do it virtually?" Right? And I don't mind if it's a paid engagement, for example. I'll say I'll take half, no problem. If the idea is that I want to be spreading a certain message around innovation or around artificial intelligence or around, my topics, happiness and so on. um, I don't need to be there in person. I really don't. Okay. And often I object and push back and say, seriously, why go halfway around the world? But still, when this episode airs next week, I will be on my way to Miami, then Curacao, then Colombia, then Saudi Arabia, 12 days before I can come back here. And I'm not saying that to complain. I'm actually sort of angry with myself. But we still, we still do it anyway.
It's also the fact that we need to preserve our environment, our body, our soul. Also, it's all about. I think I like to. I mean, I love to be, in a way, an abstract person. I love to stay. Even if I do things, I mean, my abstraction has become my job,
Mm,
and my connection with the aroma of the sage and the rosemary and the thyme has become the way I express myself, the way I point to the people that is important to smell the sage and to look at the sky and to listen to a sound and 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 this is I think it's very precious. It's something that we should never forget about it.
yeah, it's living.
It's the essence of our life because it's the most
Yeah.
beautiful thing that we can do in our life. To look at to go by a river and to look at the water passing by and to run into a field of grass and to look at the tree and to experience all those beauty that we have in the world. And it's and the rest is distraction. The rest is something that is just trash.
Truly is. It's a replacement for not being able to live that life. You get yourself into the city and the undergrounds and the buses and the busy life of work and so on and so forth, and you get away from that beautiful connection to the real life, to nature, to the sky, to the beauty around you. And what do you need? You need the distraction, because that's the only way you can survive without what you need most. I think it's a self-fulfilling, it's a spiral somehow, right? You get into it, and the further you get away from nature, the more you need other distractions that take you further away from nature. It's quite interesting when you think about it. But when I if what you're trying to do is to tell people that, Ludovico, I think you're doing a very, very, very good job. Because my way of doing it is I tell people, partly through this podcast, that regardless of how busy your life is, there's always a bit of time to slow down. And when I think, if I ever think of a soundtrack for slowing down, it would be you. It would be your music. It would be really, played on headphones when I'm doing absolutely nothing but enjoying the beauty of what you create. Hopefully, with the beauty of the sky, or the beauty of a tree, or the beauty of a butterfly. And I think it fits so well. You do it so well. You literally force my entire being to slow down. It's incredible, really, and I thank you for that.
Great to hear your words. Also, I think it's sometimes it's similar to cooking. When you, for example, the time that, for example, I when I prepare the carrots. And I prepare the carrots for my daughter. She loves the grated carrots, and I do it with my hands. I grate them with the hands, and it's hard because it takes more time, and it's. But the result compared to the machine is another. It's like you are eating the carrots. It's like the most beautiful. When they are doing by hands, it's the most beautiful thing that you can eat, because the way they keep
Moisture and the flavor
the
and
taste, the flavor, it's another planet. It's not comparable. But I mean, this is an example to how you can do things in your life. It takes more time, but it's much better. So even when I think at when I am recording my piano, and I go to a studio, and I spend maybe one day to test the microphones, because sometimes they look at me like I'm a crazy guy, because I spend so time. So for them, it's like wasting time that is cost, because you go to a studio and every hour you spend money. But then, I mean, the result is different, because you are testing the microphone, because every microphone has a specific color, and you have to choose the
oh,
color that you want. And if you go to a studio, and you start to play with the first microphone they give you, it could go well, but it's not something that you really have digested.
oh my God. It's incredible how you describe things. It really is incredible. I mean, we spoke about color, about scent, about taste, about moisture, about flavor. I thought we were going to talk about music, and which to most of us is sound, but the way you equate it to all of those experiences is just incredibly beautiful, really. I mean, I think I'm going to end up listening to all of your work again after this conversation, and I will probably sense it very differently, because now I realize that this is what you put in it. It's not just clicks. Are they called clicks on the keys of the piano? It's your soul put through it.
Yeah, it's more exactly that. So it's in the piano, I can blend all these different things that I love to do, because I love to, and all the experiences. It's not just music. Is not just about music, but it's about all your life, and life is made of
Wow.
the things that you love to do. That about the people that you love to be with, and the only difficult task is to arrive to introduce all those things into a piece of music that sometimes requires some time.
Yeah, for most of us it requires eternity, but for you it requires time. But I have to say, it's, I think, worth the time. I think you're enriching the lives of billions with the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful um, soul that you put out there in the world. It's just amazing when I hear it from your words, not just from your music. It's in the introduction I was suggesting to the listeners to play your music in the background of this conversation, because I basically said I'm going to try and investigate his story, his thoughts, his beliefs. But if you want to touch his soul, listen to the music in the background. And I know that this actually turned out to be true. It's your soul in those keystrokes. So beautiful, really.
Great. Thank you.
I will finish with this. I would talk to you for hours, to be honest, but in respect of your time, I am so grateful for coming to talk to me today, for sharing yourself so beautifully with all of us. And I thank you for all the work that you do, and I thank you for being so human in everything that you do. It really is what we need most in the world.
Thank you. It was a beautiful conversation, and I will keep it as a memory for the new things that I had the chance to say with you, and uh, and I will keep following your work.
Thank you very much. And for all of you listening, I know you've been touched, your hearts have been touched as much as mine has been today. This has been an amazingly beautiful, sensual, wonderful conversation in so many ways. And, truly worth slowing down to be part of it. Please share this with others. I think so many need to understand how life should be lived and how a slower life can actually lead you to a place where you create what can enrich the lives of billions. I love you all for listening, and I will see you next time.